Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, this is Spider, and welcome back to another review. And today we're going to be continuing our celebration of the 20th anniversary of Star Wars Revenge of the Sith with Obi-Wan's Jedi Starfighter. Now, I usually start off these reviews by taking a look at the packaging, but I don't have it, so trash can instead. Alright, enough of that. On to Obi-Wan's Starfighter. And I actually took a look at Anakin's Starfighter last week, so this review might be a bit shorter than that one because they're basically the same vehicle, just with a different color scheme. Or who knows, I do intend to ramble on, so this video might actually be longer than that one. I don't know, we'll see. Anyways, we'll bring it in close here and take a better look at the ship. So we have this nice gray and dark red maroon color scheme. It looks very nice. Got lots of carbon scoring on it, which is these big black marks on the ship. Got lots and lots of it, even more than Anakin's ship did, which is kind of funny. You'd think it'd be the reverse. I feel like Anakin would get into more starfights than Obi-Wan would. But who knows? Maybe Anakin's just better at dodging them or something. I don't know. Yeah, you got lots and lots of it. You got that nice red color as well, which looks very, very nice. Even got a little astromech here. You got R4P17, which, yes, I did have to look up their full name because I could not remember it. And they are actually removable from the ship. So, yeah, you got a very nice looking head. You got all the details. It's got this dark red color, which I feel like R4 is a bit of a brighter red in the movie. I don't know, maybe that's just me misremembering, but I feel like it wasn't this dark, but whatever. The head can rotate all the way around. And when it's squeaky, and it almost kind of sounds like an astromech when it squeaks. That's kind of funny. So if you're much for that, you can just slide it back in here. Still satisfying. Anyways, back to the ship. So you got more detail on here. You got the back here with the two thrusters. Very nice. You got the back of the ship here, which for some reason this is more of a metallic color than this is. Don't know why, but it is. You got the, hang on, I'm going to raise up the camera here a little bit so you can see what I'm talking about a bit. You got the canopy, which is also more of that metallic color for some reason. The other side of the ship. And something that I do appreciate is that they are actually different. You can see the two halves of the ship are painted differently, or the battle damage is different. So that's nice. It is very, very nice. You got a look from the front. You can see there is some see-through plastic on the front there as well, which is very nice. You got the bottom of the ship, which is a little bare, but it's still got that red and a little bit of battle damage on it. Yeah, you also got some words there. If you can see any of that. Yeah. Ship is rather cool, and the canopy can in fact open up, so I really like that, and it can pop off quite easily, so be aware of that. Let's just click it back into place here. We'll bring it up here and take a better look inside. You see you got this very nice gold chair, which is very, very cool looking. You got all the control panels and everything. You got some foot pedals, or foot rests, I'm still not sure. You got the other side, which is pretty much the same as the front side, or the one side. The right side is about the same as the left. I pointed at the wrong directions when I said it. I know directions, I swear. Anywho. So that's pretty much it for the details of the ship, and it is quite nice. I do quite like it. The only issue that I really have with the paint is the battle damage. Just like on Anakin Starfighter, they replicated some paint scraping to make it look like it's all scratched up and battle damaged, like it's seen war and whatnot. But unlike on Anakin's, it's gray. Hang on, you can't really see it. Well, there we go. Focusing a little bit better. You can see they use gray, whereas on Anakin's they use silver, which looked so much better. Hang on, let me actually bring in Anakin's ship here to compare. So you can see they use silver to kind of represent the battle damage and the paint scraping off, which looks really cool. But on here, for some reason, they decided to just use a plain gray, and it just doesn't look very good. I don't know why they decided to do that, but yeah, it just does not look as good as the silver would have, so that's a little disappointing. But other than that, the ship looks very, very nice, and it is quite bright. Let me dampen that a little bit, that's better. So yeah, other than that one problem, very, very nice looking ship. They did a excellent job for back in 2005. I mean, this ship could still work in a modern collection. It looks very, very nice. And if you wanted more details on it, the ship originally came with stickers, so you could put some extra stuff. Like there's more things you could put in the cockpit, put some more battle damage. There was even some stickers for R4, because he is kind of missing some paint on the front of him. So yeah, but I don't have any of those stickers. Now those are all gone with the wind. They have since been lost to time. Anyways, now the ship does have a few features that you can use. If you come to the bottom here, you can see it has a couple of landing gear, which just fold out like so you can set it down. The only issue is they don't really stick in place. Their landing gear are pretty loose, so they don't really work super well. So I wind up not using them very often, which is kind of disappointing, but whatever. At least they're there, I suppose. Anyways, another feature the ship can do, which is my personal favorite, is if you come back here, you can see there's this little lever here. Let me raise up the camera a bit so I can show this off better. So you got that lever, you push down on it, and it opens up the flaps. And I love that. As a kid, that was my favorite feature. I would just constantly just close up the flaps and then just pull it down and open them up again. They're really cool. And when you do open up, they actually reveal even more detail inside. There, they actually painted and added more carbon scoring inside when you open up the flaps. So that is very nice. A very nice touch. Is that on the bottom too? No, they just painted this black bit and that's it. But even the inside of the flaps have detail. You have this textured bit on them. That's on all four of the flaps. So yeah, oops, bumped the camera. I really like this. The ship looks very cool when it's in attack mode. I really like it. And you can just simply close it up by just pushing down on them, and then it closes up like that. Now the ship does have one more feature, and that is, if you come to the back here, there are these little gray buttons that if you push them, they shoot these cleverly hidden missiles. Yeah. And because it's got some spring-fire missiles, that means we gotta take it to the firing range. Alrighty, so here we have the firing range set up, and what we do here is we have a bunch of targets, and we're gonna shoot the missiles at them and see if we can knock them over. So first up, we have a Lego minifigure. Bear with me here, I might miss a few times because I don't have the greatest of aim. Whoops, I'm bumping things. Hang on. Yep, like I said, I missed. Alrighty, I got the missile back. Let me try it a second time. There we go. Now we shoot it at this random minion thingy. Yep, knocked him over pretty good. Alrighty, now we have an empty Altoids can. Let's see if that'll knock that over. Yep. And finally, we'll see if it can knock over something you might actually shoot it at, like a Star Wars figure. Yep. Knocks him over pretty well. So that pretty much concludes this session of the firing range. Alrighty, so back with the ship. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Now, I forgot to mention something about the canopies that, obviously it opens, but you can fit a figure in there. I completely forgot to mention that earlier. So we'll take an episode 3 Obi-Wan, and we have one I really have, and we'll see if we can fit him in there. Hopefully we can, but we'll see. Can he fit? No, not really. Yeah, I mentioned this before, but you can see his legs don't really work. I mentioned this with Anakin's Starfighter. If they can't sit properly, they are not going to fit in this ship. So let's get a figure that can sit properly. Here we got the Galaxy of Adventures Luke Skywalker. You can see he sits pretty well, and he very comfortably sits inside the ship. So as long as they can sit properly, you'll be able to fit him in there. So that's quite nice. And also, something I've discovered, sorry, my brain didn't work there for a second. Something else I discovered is that if you don't want to leave the missiles stored in the ship, because it can, if they're constantly pushing on the spring, it can make the springs wear out and not make them shoot as well as they used to. You can actually fit the missiles inside the canopy. You just store them in there. Yeah, ain't that nice? So they're right inside the ship. So overall, it's quite nice. I do quite like it. It's got all the features you'd want a Jedi Starfighter to have. And overall, it's pretty fun. And it does look really nice alongside Anakin Starfighter. And speaking of comparing things, let's move on to the size comparison, shall we? Shall we? I don't know why I didn't pronounce the H in that one. Whatever. Size comparisons. We're moving on. Alrighty, so to start with the size comparison, as always, here it is with a Lego minifigure. With the pack instruction minifigure Mothra. Hey, she didn't tip forward this time, ain't that nice? With the pack instruction minifigure Godzilla. Alrighty, now into some more relevant size comparisons. Here it is with the Revenge of the Sith Droid Attack R2-D2. And if any of you are wondering, no, an astromech cannot actually fit inside that spot. At least none of the ones I have can. We have it with the Episode 3 Obi-Wan Kenobi. With the Episode 1 Naboo Obi-Wan Kenobi. He doesn't like to stand up sometimes. There we go. We have it with the Star Wars Vintage Collection set number 78 Battle Droid. Stand up. Thank you. So you can get that. Here it is with the Titanium Series die-cast Vulture Droid, which is not a long scale, but hey, whatever. And finally, here it is with the previous review the Star Wars Revenge of the Sith, Anakin's Jedi Starfighter. And I'm going to try and get them both in frame here. Dang landing gear. And they both do look very, very nice side by side, I have to say. They look really cool. So, that pretty much ends it for the size comparison. Now on to measuring time. Whoops. So, the ship itself is a little over 12 inches long and slightly over 10 inches wide. And if you want to know, it's almost 4 inches tall. So yeah, decent sized ship. Not too small, not too big. It is quite nice. And overall, it's just really fun. It's just a really cool, really fun ship. And like I said, it's not really dated that much at all. It's still really cool. It's really cool. It's really fun. I do enjoy it. And there's quite a few variations of this ship as well. As mentioned, obviously, there's the Anakin version. There's a Mace Windu version. There's a version Obi-Wan uses later in the film. I think there's an Aayla Secura version and plenty of others. So if you're not a fan of gray and red, there are plenty of different colors to choose from. And if you did want one for yourself, on eBay, this ship is going for around $30 out of the box. However, if you wanted it brand new, it's around $60. Which is still kind of expensive, but at least it's not as expensive as Anakin's, which apparently is going for like $80. So, yeah, but I recommend getting it pre-owned because there's not too many things to break on it. So, as long as you can get one in good condition, $30 isn't too bad. It's probably what a ship with this ship would go for nowadays anyways. So, yeah, I don't know why I closed the landing gear just to open it back up, but I did. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've got to say. Well, okay, I guess the landing gear are closing anyways. Whatever. And oh, hey, would you look at that? This video did go on longer than last week's did. Whoops. Anyways, that's all I've got to say. I hope you all enjoyed. See you later. Sayonara. Bye.